Hello children, today we are going to study something about the medicinal use of microorganisms. The first important medicinal use of microorganism is it is used in the preparation of antibiotics. Actually, antibiotics are what? These are the chemicals which kills or stop the growth of certain microbes. Which kills or stops the growth of some specific microbes. They help our body to fight against diseases. The development of antibiotics began with the discovery of penicillin by Sir Alexander Fleming. So the first antibiotic which was discovered, that was named as penicillin, and this was discovered by a scientist named as Alexander Fleming in the year 1928. Fleming noticed that an agar plate, when inoculated with bacterium Staphylococcus, when agar plate consists of a bacterium that is called as Staphylococcus aureus. This is a bacteria, children, which was grown on agar plate during some experiment. After some time, Fleming observed that it had become contaminated with a mold. He further noticed the presence of a clear zone in the agar plate in which breakdown of bacterial cells had occurred. Detailed studies led to the isolation of an inhibitory substance from the mold, as the mold was identified as penicillium. Now this mold was what? It was actually penicillium. Fleming called the antibiotic penicillin. Soon other antibiotics were also discovered. Some other well-known antibiotics are streptomycin, tetracycline, gramicidine, etc. The antibiotics have been obtained from either bacteria or fungus. So this need to mention here, and this is very important, that antibiotics are obtained either from bacteria or they can be obtained from fungus. These are the drugs specific for curing bacterial diseases. They either cease the formation of cell wall or interferes in their metabolic activities like production of proteins. So the main role of antibiotic is they cease the cell wall formation, or what they can do, they can hamper the metabolic activities or they interferes with the metabolic activities like production of proteins. This kills or stops the growth of bacteria. Antibiotics are not effective for viruses, or it is difficult to make antiviral drugs because viruses are acellular entities which only have nucleic acid and protein, but they lack cytoplasm, cell wall and cell organelles. They do not have their own metabolic system, but they are the host. They use the host metabolic machinery to grow and multiply. So drugs are not effective against viruses. Drugs, or we can say antibiotics, are not effective against viruses. Now let us talk something about vaccination. Now what is vaccination? Actually, the Edward Jenner was a scientist who was the first person who developed the technique of vaccination. It was developed by Sir Edward Jenner in the year 1798. Every organism has a variety of defense mechanism against the disease causing microorganism like bacteria, fungus, etc. Now, if I talk about the history of vaccine and vaccination, Sir Edward Jenner was a doctor during a dreadful smallpox epidemic in England. He found that smallpox seldom affected rural people who worked around cattle. Most of the farmers had suffered from cowpox and recovered. This led him to think that an attack of cowpox had made these people immune to smallpox. He then tested his vaccination theory on James Phipps, a small boy about 8-year-old. Dr. Jenner made 2 cuts on James, inoculated matter from cowpox pustule into it. James' arm developed a pustule which healed. Then after some days, Dr. Jenner inoculated James with the material from smallpox. No sign of smallpox appeared. Dr. Jenner's vaccination experiment was successful. He used the term vaccine for immunity producing preparation and vaccination for the process of inoculation of the preparation into the body. In this way, vaccination was discovered by Edward Jenner, and he has experimented on a boy named as James Phipps with a pustule first from smallpox, first from the cowpox, and then from smallpox. Now, let us discuss something about the harmful effects of microorganisms. The first main important harmful effect of microorganism is food poisoning. Food poisoning is mainly caused by a bacteria which is named as Clostridium botulinum, which secretes botulin on fresh fruit. These bacteria decompose foodstuffs and make them unfit for human consumption. Second harmful effect is microorganisms. They cause considerable damage to stored food grains. Cause damage to stored food grains. Third important effect is they cause damage to historical buildings also, such as temples, museums, etc. The fourth important harmful effect is the denitrifying bacteria reduces the fertility of soil. Denitrifying bacteria reduces the fertility of soil. Some microbes cause water pollution and they also aid in spreading communicable diseases. So, microorganisms can also cause water pollution and they can aid to diseases. Microorganisms can also disturb the aquatic food chain. Some microorganisms can also deteriorate the quality of textile, timber, paper, shoes, etc. They spoil the taste and flavor of fruit juice, milk products, etc. Some microbes can cause skin diseases and other allergies. And other allergies. Now children, this was all about the harmful effects of microorganisms. Now let us discuss something about the disease causing microorganisms. Infectious diseases are called communicable diseases because they can spread from affected person to healthy person. The means of communication or spread are different for different microbes. The disease causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Now let us discuss something about the means of spread. How these pathogens spread from one person to another person. So this we are going to discuss in this subtopic, means of spread of diseases. There are two means by which these microorganisms spread. The first important mean is what? That is direct transmission. And the second important means is indirect transmission. In the direct transmission, there are various ways. These ways are as follows. First is close contact with infected person. Second, contact with soil. Third, animal bites. It can be through it can be called as a transplacental transmission. It also can be through droplet infection. Now, due to close contact with the infected person, diseases like chickenpox, smallpox, ringworm are spread by actual contact. Such diseases are called as contagious diseases. The sexual contact is also one of the closest physical contacts two people can have with each other. Diseases like syphilis, gonorrhea, and AIDS, they are transmitted by sexual contact from one partner to the other. Contact with the soil, the infectious agent of tetanus can enter the human body from soil through injuries. The rabies virus is injected in the human body by the bite of a rabid dog or monkey. And on the other hand, the diseases like AIDS, German measles and syphilis can also be transmitted from infected person to the fetus through placenta. Pathogens can also spread by the way of sneezing, coughing, spitting and talking, as in common cold, influenza, etc. Let us talk something about the indirect transmission. There are various modes. The first important mode is vectors. Second, it can be through contaminated food and water. Third, it can be through air, so that can be called as an airborne disease, or it can be fomite-borne disease. Now, let us discuss these indirect methods. Vectors are actually the living organisms which spread their pathogens from an infected person to a healthy person. Usually, a part of life cycle of the pathogen is passed in the body of the vector. Some animals like housefly transfer the pathogen without taking them in their bodies. They are called carriers. Housefly is a carrier of cholera, dysentery, typhoid, diarrhea, etc. Female mosquitoes of many species are vectors of several diseases. They require blood meal in order to obtain nutrients for laying eggs. Female Anopheles spreads malaria while Culex spreads filaria. Now, cholera, hepatitis B, diarrhea, ascariasis, etc. are some diseases which are transmitted through contaminated food and water. Infectious agents can get transferred from infected person to healthy person through air, dust and droplets. Common cold, pneumonia, etc. Articles coming in contact with the patients are a source of infection. Door handles, taps, garments, currency, utensils, crockery, etc. They are a cause of fomite-borne diseases. Now let us talk something about the diseases in animals. The most common diseases of animals are anthrax disease. It occurs in human and cattle, and it is caused by bacteria. Second disease of animals is foot and mouth disease, which is caused by a virus. Third important disease is Ranikhet, which is a main disease of poultry, and it is caused by virus only. Let us talk something about the plant diseases. The various common plant diseases are, first it is citrus canker. This plant disease is due to a bacteria and mode of it is transmitted through air. Second disease is called as a rust of wheat. This is caused by a fungi and it spreads through air. Third important disease is yellow vein mosaic of bhindi or okra, and this particular disease is caused by a virus. This spreads through insect. Fourth important disease is called as a red rot of sugarcane. This is caused by fungi and this also spreads through air. And last important disease is called as a blast of rice, which occurs especially in paddy. This is also caused by a fungi and it also spreads through air. So children, this was all about the plant, animal diseases as well as the means of spread of diseases, especially the infectious diseases in human beings. Thank you so much.